G'day guys, welcome back to the Supercoach Swordplay. Bit of a mini milestone here, Season 3, Episode 20. So it's been
boys.
terrific so far. Yeah, congrats boys, been a massive season. Really enjoyed every minute with you two legends. But look, before I do introduce these two men that you are already very, very familiar with, there is a big event happening this Friday night, 6 o'clock at the pub at Crown. We'll all be there, as well as many, many other content creators, lots of people that watch this channel, watch other channels as well. Be some fantastic members from the Supercoach community there. Even Heath is going to be there. Big Heath, sure, if you don't mind.
Keen for that.
Don't look at his rank this year, though. I tell you what, I don't know what his knowledge on Supercoach is actually like, the old ambassador. I think he's going pretty poorly, maybe a bit unlucky this year, the old Heater. But, yeah, it will be a fantastic night. We're all going there for at least an hour, I think. Then I'll be heading out to the game itself at Marvel, which I'm really looking forward to. But certainly hope to see everyone there. And tell you what, we're even thinking pretty soon, I know Spills, bit of a merch drop even. Bit of a
swordplay mate. Yeah, it's looking that way. Very excited.
Yeah. So stepping up the world. Stepping up in the world. Well, mate, I'm speaking with you now, so I better introduce you, Spillsy. How have you been, legend? What's been going on, mate?
Oh, just radical, mate. Just running amok. I could barely make it on time for a 7:30 podcast. So, yeah, what does that tell you? But no, we're going good, man. Another really good week in Supercoach. Gee, didn't I avoid some absolute carnage? No liver, no Dunkley, no Decam. I think there's a couple of others that have really hurt a few sides. No Ryan as well. That's look at my point the other week, boys. Ryan, he's playing more accountable. I put Young in the middle, and Ryan has to defend. He hates it. And as a non-owner,
I'm defending.
Oh, he does. I saw him. I saw him about 20 times call for it about 50 meters behind the ball for a switch. Like, he loves the cheap hill. Absolutely loves it. So
loves it.
Yeah. Youngie might owe him a couple of beers come season end. So that's hurt a few. So, yeah, avoid a lot of carnage, boys. In the Cashy prelims, I got a couple of matchups. I think 2 out of the 4 have Liberatore, not myself included. So that'll shape things up a little bit. So, yeah, and really hoping Dunkley doesn't go well. It's a funny one because I really like him. He's one of my favourite blokes. Haven't missed an episode of Ads and Dunks on the Oz American Aces. They're rippers, but yeah, as a non-owner, I'm just backing against him, and he's helped me out 2 weeks in a row. So yeah, that's resulted in some serious scoring. So this week, lads, we scored 200, and again, we'll scale down from, I think I was on 2,475. Just got a massive whack, just scaled down immensely. I'm not really sure what happened there, but nonetheless, I'm taking that every day of the week, and we've gone up over 1,000 spots in the rank. So we are now sitting at 2,701 overall. So for the first time this year, boys, absolutely wrapped with it. We're in the top 1%. So I'm stoked. 5 out of 5 league wins. I'm in the prelim in every other league. And yeah, got my eyes set on this Cashy prelim. Hoping the blokes that have Liberatore are punished this week. Surely, boys, surely. Oh, that's a bit dramatic, but it is a bit dramatic. It is a bit dramatic. It's so stiff how that happened. But yeah, Supercoach, boys, as we all know, it brings out the absolute worst in people, and maybe we saw that with me. I really do wish Luba the best in recovery. Very unfortunate that 20, but as a non-owner, oh, how good. So, and English taking kickouts as well, lads. I'm with you, Janath. I've seen it all. I'm starting this bloke for 100% first pick player.
He got 13 points as my captain. Oh my 13 God. Times 2 for 3 running bounces and a kick that was effective. Oh my goodness, I've seen everything.
Unreal. Everything. Unbelievable. No Tim English in my team, and we still managed to rank ourselves 1,025th for this week. So we're 500th last week for the week. Now we're 1,025th. So that's two like the 2 highest weekly ranks I've had in my short Supercoach career. So things are going pretty good at the moment, but we've still got a long way to go in terms of overall and this cash league that I've got my eyes just set on. I'm very nervous for that, but won't go into it too much. But things are looking Pretty good. How about yourself, Janath? I know you brought someone in this week. It wasn't who I thought it would be, but you want to run us through that one?
Yeah, so this week I scored 2,345. And Spills, you were saying that you hope that everyone that has Libba gets punished. I feel slightly offended by that, mate.
I'm sorry, boys. That was a bit of an exaggeration.
I've just seen someone try to hide a smile.
He's trying to sabotage me. What's happening here?
Yeah, he's talking about liver. He just lights up. His eyes light up whenever he talks about liver. He's not a liver owner. He just liver. He lights up, like tries to hide. Like, and I hope he has a quick recovery. Yes, he's dancing inside this man.
Absolute play, absolute rubble. Talk about the victory lap around the house, boys. I'll tell you what, that was on display on Sunday afternoon. Not only did I like seeing Hawthorn upset the Dogs down there in Tassie, but when Libba got concussed, I thought, I think I admire what he is as a player. I think he's an absolute gun. So it is sad, but as a non-owner, in the most selfish way possible, yeah, I was pretty wrapped. I was pretty wrapped with the result. So yeah, Supercoach is a shocker. It turns people into bad men. So yeah, the villains come out, boys. I can't hide it.
Before we need to do a psychotic test on you, let me carry on with the round review.
Yes, please do. That would be a great idea.
So I don't know what could have been with Libba. Like, what is it? I went up 36 spots from 736 to 700th, and had Libba and had Doherty. So I got two guys subbed out. I brought in Doherty for Dacos. This was a complete pick from the heart. It was his 150th game for the club as well. There's a slight calf concern, which they say is a knock to the calf. If he plays, that's a blessing. I'm not really counting on him playing. Not that I think he plays, but I've set my team up to assume that he doesn't play just because with Lib and Doc out, it's almost right now just hold on for dear life in that top 1K. Got kicked out of my own league by my mate by 3 points. Thanks, Nasiah.
3 points.
3 points. Dan Houston absolutely had a dominant last quarter for him. But a couple of bright points. Saturday night was quite possibly the best sporting night that I witnessed.
Bloody
live as a Matildas fan. So
yes.
Go the green and gold.
Nice.
That penalty shootout was intense, and I reckon the Carlton and Melbourne players were also too preoccupied with the penalty shootout because both teams played awful in the first quarter. And then the Blues. How about it?
And the derby. How good's the derby, Janath? It's the wrong. Bayshore Cup.
Oh, I'll tell you what though.
Adam Paplia.
I didn't want to watch the derby too much because I know that I went over Luke Jackson. I went past him and chose Doc just for some defensive cover and was like, can't watch him put on a 170 on BJ Williams. Couldn't watch too much of it. And it was also my dad's birthday, so the trifecta there.
Happy
the last
birthday
10 minutes. Thank you. The last 10 minutes of the Carlton game was at my grandma's brother's house, and it was immense. They're non-AFL supporters, so they're going in. Some madman's going bananas because a phantom hand has touched the ball on the goal line. But
yes,
we don't complain. We just needed some luck go our way throughout the week. I've got to give a big shout out here. So I work in a semi-diagnostic laboratory, research laboratory, as my profession.
Far out. That's hectic. I don't even know what that is. So kudos to you. I'm shocking, mate.
In the lab next to me, I'll mention his name. Daniel. Daniel comes up and he's like, Janath, do you do a podcast? And he's watched every episode this season. And we chat Supercoach and he's talking about how Chess is his cover for Dacos, and he's ranked 2K as well, so he's doing really, really well.
Nice,
just a very big shout out to Daniel. That's the first person at work that doesn't know the podcast exists, that has found that I do a podcast. So that's a story I want to share. So shout out to you, Daniel. If you're if you're watching, send us a comment. But that was brilliant. Set up a good week. And yeah, I reckon from here, if I can finish anywhere above 700, it's just we'll take that. But yeah, unfortunate about Libba. And Doherty, long-winded round review. DR, how did you go, mate?
Well, look, another green arrow. Couldn't quite get inside the top 3K, mate. 3,040. So I'm 40 spots away. That's what a couple of kicks, I think, these days. I don't think there's too much of a difference there. But look, for my score, geez, I haven't even got it up here. It was nothing like Spills. Spills is actually now ahead of me. After thinking I was just steaming past the man. No. He has come back like an absolute steam train himself. But 23.50 I got. So nice even sort of score. Look, I really didn't think I'd even need a backup captaincy option. I thought, surely Zeret's just got to give me a nice 125 plus at least. Lock that in. But no. So then it was decision time. You know, I did bring in Dogger Jackson. So it was either DP3 or Dogger. In the end, I went with Dogger. I was really struggling because when it was announced that Vicentini was out, I thought, oh no, like, because as in like he's really bad. So I want Vicentini in the ruck as a matchup. But sent Janath the message in a bit of panic and going, mate, what do I do here? I'm getting cold feet on Dogger. And he sent me through some stats on Finlayson. And safe to say that he is not a solid ruckman whatsoever. So I appreciate that, brother. Ended up going through with Dogger. And half time, I think it was on about 70 odd. I was thinking beauty could be a nice 140 here, but 124, I think it was at the end of the day. That's fantastic on debut. Gives me that peace of mind. Having him as some ruck cover as well. And I really look forward to his matchup this week against Mr. Finlayson. But look, the heroes this week, there weren't too many, were there? I certainly didn't see
there wasn't
2,500 plus scores. Dogger was one, Rosie one, I suppose. Butter's the other one. Kizza, okay with a 115, I suppose, but that's pretty much where it ends. Oh, sorry, and Sheasel as well. Sheasel with a really nice 135.
That was awesome.
Was actually going to loop him this week, so I didn't end up needing to do that. But yeah, look, that's pretty much where I'm at, boys. And for the season rank, I'm just hoping I get inside the top 3K. But this will pretty much segue me into my rant because this week, a bloke that's been smashing it for me, the lowest score he's given me in about the last month has been a 120. But this week, he gets his partner in crime back again. And I'm talking about Maxi Gawn, big bad Maxi Gawn. Grundy came back into the side, and I knew this would happen. I said he's going to be a bad pick if Grundy comes back. Now, I haven't even done all the the research and the stats here. He could have spent close to as much time in the ruck. I'm not too sure, but I'm telling you now, with Brodie Grundy in that side, Max Gawn will not score well. I don't care where you play him. So Simon Goodwin, and I don't know what's going on with Simon Goodwin at the moment. There was a bit of early news we won't get into now before we started recording. But look, Simon Goodwin, if you're listening, mate, and I'm sure you are a big fan of this podcast, get Brodie Grundy out of the side, okay? Bring Tom McDonald in. He's a proper forward. He'll give you a target there. I don't know how many times they have targeted Brodie Grundy in that forward line. I don't think it's been too many, though. I doubt whether it's been, if all, because
from what it's like Melbourne want to lose.
Yeah, like, come on. He's a ruckman. This bloke's a ruckman. He's not going to be a forward. So find someone else to bring in. I don't care if you've got to play a little bit smaller down there. How about Joel Smith or someone? I don't know. I'm not too sure. But the answer cannot be Brodie Grundy purely because it's killing Max Gawn as a Supercoach pick. If I wasn't invested in Max Gawn, play Brodie Grundy all you want. I couldn't care less.
I've got some numbers for you, mate.
All right, hit me, Dennis.
Brodie Grundy's played 700 minutes as a forward. This is from On the Couch, by the way. I just remember it off the dome. 700 minutes as a forward this year. We'll play nearest to the pin. How many times do you reckon he's been targeted as a forward?
Once, twice, maybe.
Minutes. Once.
Oh. I wouldn't even kick to him.
700 minutes
it'd be under. I reckon I'm gonna go 20 times.
22.
Yeah.
He's been targeted 22 times in 700 minutes. And he was targeted once. He was targeted once in the weekend.
Once. There you go.
So should be.
There you go. He's just not a forward. He's just not a forward.
not.
Buckley said the
Yeah,
same thing.
man.
He knows him really well.
We saw what Maxi did solo rucking live,
Oh.
and it was
First hand, mate.
spectacle. It was
Yeah.
a
I was
spectacle.
very happy that Max Gorn wasn't rucking solo against us
Like,
because
they played.
you take away the biggest strength from the team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. Exactly. So I just don't think they can persist with it now. And
they've got to
I don't
trade
know.
him. They have to
Yeah.
trade him. They're wasting Grundy's career. It's not fair.
surely,
He's the
surely
third
they
best
do, mate.
ruckman in the comp behind English and Gorn, I reckon. Like for
Yeah.
sure. It's just such a waste for him. Like really bad. And they can't have him in the forward line. He stuffs up Van Ruin a little bit as well.
He's
There's
no
just
good, mate.
There's no need
no
for
good
him at
forward.
all. Like it's
No, like-
it's shocking.
Surely he's got to be at Port Adelaide next year, doesn't he? Surely
Or,
for his
or
career.
Geelong even. Geelong are looking for a ruck, like with Stanley.
Will that be
Maybe
Big
Darcy. Yeah, Darcy
Shrek,
might
maybe?
go there. Yeah,
I'll tell you what. Just
a few ruck
going back to
options next year.
yeah, I was going to say going back to Dogger. I reckon this man's going to be if Sean Darcy leaves Fremantle, I reckon Dog will be my first selected player
Yeah.
next year
As a
in the
forward.
forward line. In
Yeah.
the forward line,
Oh,
we're going to have no
Yeah.
one.
yeah.
We're going to have no one.
Yes.
Bank that it. Lock that in all you like.
Lock
If
it in,
Sean Darcy leaves Fremantle, then do you know what? And I reckon it makes sense. I reckon it makes sense if Freo, because really, sorry, getting off topic, but Dogger is a ruckman. He's the number one ruckman for me. That's where he's going to have the most damage, right? How much are they paying up for this bloke? How much did they pay, in draft capital for this fella? Do you really want to be playing him as an 80% key forward?
No.
Nah.
I wouldn't. I don't reckon you're paying up that much for him as a forward. As a number one ruck, the sky's the limit, I think, for this bloke. The sky's the absolute limit. They're different ruckman, obviously. And hey, Sean Darcy, Big Shrek, is a beast. All right, he's a fantastic ruckman. But if you're paying that much money to Luke Jackson, we've seen what he's been able to produce as a number one ruck. This bloke, remember how young this bloke is as well. He's a pretty young player. I
He's a
think
year younger than me, DR, so he's got plenty.
Same, mate.
Yep.
So
plenty, mate. Plenty.
I'll
and I
tell
think
you
It,
what,
it makes sense because Darcy's a Victorian, so it only makes sense.
Geelong.
Yeah, exactly.
they'll come for him.
I think so. They
But
have
they got
to.
to get
What are they
Trek
gonna
to
do?
Geelong,
It makes
Stanley.
run you to Port, and then
Stanley
leave
boys.
on the ruck by himself, and Max Gorn.
And
yeah.
really, like on a for Freo it makes sense having Jackson, Sarong, Brayshaw, Young.
Oh, how's that?
I know
Like,
I'm missing.
how's that for a
players.
core?
Johnson, like that's a core you build around,
absolutely.
and you don't have salary cap tied up to two ruckmen. We see with Melbourne now when you pay $1 million plus or two ruckmen on a list, it just blows out the rest of your salary. It's too difficult to come back from. But yeah, I mean, as a Carlton fan, non-Gorno, and I reckon Grundy in was the ideal scenario. But the way they played the first half, again, they used Grundy as a ruck, as a forward. It wasn't working. They subbed off Jordan, brought on Hibbard, moved Smith into the forward line, and then just had Grundy and Gorn as 1A, 1B ruckman. And it was like the forward experiment was over. So I highly doubt Grundy's getting picked this week against Hawthorn.
Oh, that was going to be my question, mate. Do you think so? You probably don't think he gets a game this week? I'm fingers crossed. I like Brady Grundy.
Gorn,
Nothing against him, but sorry, what was that, mate?
Possibly.
Chuck the C on Gorn maybe this week if there's no Grundy.
If there's no Grundy.
Oh, look, I was
Against
going to do it
Reeves.
this week without Grundy. He was going to be my backup 100% without Brady Grundy. But unfortunately, I did go with the big sis dog. And it's like I miss every one of his big scores as captain. And I get all the bloody mediocre ones, mate. Yeah, look, and that's another way. Just matchups. I thought, gee, surely he's got a good. I thought Stewart had a really good matchup this week. I thought Sarong had a really good matchup this week, but Zeret did. But sometimes it just doesn't work.
Didn't he start like a house on fire, 40 at quarter time? Like that would have.
He always does. I'll tell you what though, and I'm not trying to scare you boys, but Jake Melsham does a number on intercepting defenders, and then it's just a historical thing. Now Sicily even got run down from a kick in. What's going on, boys?
I was
What's happening?
talking
Yeah.
about that. Yeah,
I saw that.
all
That
these
was
theories,
awkward.
right? Hey, just very quickly. So
Oh.
what? So the ruling on that, right? Is that
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that? You're allowed to do that
I thought it was
because
50.
the reason why I say that, right, is because I was talking
Oh.
about with my principal after school about this, right? And he asked me, "Have you seen much?" And I said, "Look, I've just seen basically a replay of it, right?" But he's like, "So you can tell me, right, that a player can stand?" So he asked me, "Is the rule if a player's actually out of play that they can be as close to that goal square as they like?" Is that a rule? He said, if it is, then wouldn't that be a tactic? Have a man right there, and that way you basically you can't just do a little play onto the left. You have to go a certain way. You could almost direct where the kick's going. I don't know. I don't know about that. A bit of a weird one.
There was a lot of weird stuff happening in that game. We were talking about Tim English taking a kick in.
Oh,
Tim English
down the line, down the middle, down the middle for me. We'll kick it down the middle and mark it.
He's stat padding, boys. He loves his own work.
Bloody Tim English. It's a killer.
Bevo's an awful coach, man. Genuinely the worst coach in the AFL.
Yeah,
I think he is. I think he is, Janath. I agree with you. He's got the best team on paper in the AFL. He can't even make top 4 ever.
How are they killing it? Look at that list that they've got. Like it's
since their premiership, they haven't made the top 4. Even in 2021,
he's riding the coattails of the premiership, mate. Seriously, like he's
absolutely
milked that premiership for so long now. Yeah. Mediocrity year on year, except the 2021 grand final, which they basically had to travel the whole country to get to, which is kudos to him. But it's like apart from that, they've done nothing.
Do you remember they blew that top 4? They were locked in the top 4, and
your boys didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah, they choked 3 in a row, I want to say, in the last 3 rounds of the season before finals. And then, DR's boys jump them in the 11th hour, and then they're 5th on the ladder. And then my boys in the elimination final. We've never been the same since, but they haven't gone over to have much of an impact. And I think, that grand final in the second half, I think they officially ran out of steam. So, Bevo can't make top 4. It's funny like that. And they got such talented players, but English, don't take kickouts, mate. We love it with Supercoach, but that's a bit.
Stay in your lane.
Nah, do it. Do it, mate.
Stay in your lane, that's
it. I love it.
Of course
I loved it. I thought as soon as you took the mark, you'd hand pass it to Ed Richards, but I'm taking it on myself here, lads.
No,
leave it to me.
I cringe.
The worst bit of play there, and sorry, I forget it was. Now, if it was Anthony Scott or someone, they slowed it down, right? If the bloke, when you received the handball in the end, instead of going into the middle,
it just didn't look right. It just didn't look right,
did it? Looked at the 2 blokes on the other side and said, "Do you know what? All this open space in the middle, no."
It just did not look right.
Right into these. What was he thinking? Was it? I don't. Was
Bailey
it Scott?
Williams.
I'm not sure if it was Scott. Bailey Williams, was it? Sorry, Scotty. Sorry, mate, for that drive line. It wasn't.
Scotty didn't even play. He's copying straight.
Seriously, talk about like game awareness. And look, I don't want to judge because in the heat of the moment, things would get hot in the kitchen, right? But when you slow things down, that was such a bad decision. That could be could be very, very costly in their season. But well, boys, now, Janath, a little bit, talk about controversy, a little bit of controversy with the old arc on the weekend. Now, Spills and Janath, very quickly, might get you boys to lock horns here because, Spillsy, we are Petrucca owners. We are cement bag owners. And unfortunately, on the weekend, there was a certain goal that wasn't allowed. Now, I just will very, very quickly step in and say, I don't know how I feel about this because the fact that the goal wasn't paid meant that Brisbane climbed into the top 2. But I probably potentially missed out on a top 3,000 spot in Supercoach. So I don't know how I feel about. I'm probably going more toward the fan side of things. I just want that top 2 because that means major things for our season. But Spills, you don't reckon it went through I've got a feeling our man Janath up the top reckons that it.
He's got his Carlton goggles on.
Wayne Harms.
Okay.
It's a Wayne. It's one of those moments where you say that he wasn't touched, so you just fire the opposition up a little bit more. You know.
How could you tell, Janath?
How can you tell he wasn't touched? The camera's awful, man.
Exactly. Like, do you have 20/20 eyesight? Can you see that?
No, I'm not saying he was touched. I'm not saying he wasn't touched. I can't decide.
I couldn't even tell. I'm like, I don't think that's touched. Like, it might have been.
Just go off whatever the umpire says, mate.
So I should have brought that out for you boys. The old
15 years ago, when there was no technology, the umpire would have just made the decision and no one would have cared.
Was Longy's goal touched, Janath? We'll never know. That's a bit before our time, but great. That's a prime example of that. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Do you have the 93 grand final repeat or something, mate?
Oh, we should grab it. We should get it up because it's one of the most elite pieces of vision between Essendon and Carlton. So, iconic. Was it touched, Janath? Oh, I don't know.
You know what? I'll tell you what, though. I reckon the AFL really needs. This is my contention here.
Upgrade your camera.
The NRL have frame by frame, high definition. You can see if a fingernail touches the ball down in the try line, but you're telling me the AFL has Spills' GoPro as the camera on either end. Seems the ball's touched not like.
I was joking about that, Janath. My GoPro is way better vision, better quality than that camera.
Is that true, Janath? You can see if the vision's that good in the NRL, is it? I didn't know that.
They go frame by frame, and the camera is high definition. It's not like 4K or anything, but you can see every single pixel in the thing.
Wow, okay.
And like.
Surely they've got to implement it.
They just need more frames because, like, the camera they use looks good until they put it in slow-mo, and when they put it in slow-mo, it's like 5 frames a second. Like, it's just unrealistic. It's just so inconclusive. You can't tell. I mean, that vision. I say that it wasn't touched just to wind you up. Like, I honestly don't know.
Honestly, I don't care. We won.
Yeah, I know.
You're the man that knows.
I don't. Did you hear that interview he did on SEN when they asked him, like, did you touch it? He goes, oh,
I hope so.
Yeah, something like that. I hope so.
Like, he's just taking the piss, man. He knows he touched it. He touched it.
Oh, sure he did. It's too late now. The damage is done, and I don't like Melbourne very much, so I didn't mind it. Obviously, and Petrarca, it was a funny situation because I didn't captain him, so I almost didn't want him to kick that goal. I'm watching, going, "Oh, jeez, don't kick it. You've done enough. You're gonna turn up. You've done enough. You don't need to kick it." So yeah, I don't mind it, boys. It's all good.
I'm saying this as a Petrarca owner as well, but I would much rather a Carlton win than a Petrarca goal there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same. Brisbane's top 2. I'll take it. Lock it in, boys. Lock it in.
Watson Sarong get tagged by O'Neill at times, and Kelly's putting a bit of work in and contested, just struggling in that second half. Had no influence in that fourth quarter, and then Petrarca goes off his head and kicks a goal like that. I'm thinking I've made a bad decision. So
yeah, fair enough.
Well, I've made a bad decision with poor old James Sicily. Just as you do, casually goes to take a kick in. He's got a bloke 2 meters behind him, but he runs him down. Give us a break this week.
That was the
he got tagged. That was a proper tag by my boy. Ever. I'll tell you what. James Sicily and Zach Merritt got tagged by 2 of my old basketball teammates. So I got to give it to them. Curtis Taylor and Riley West, the Aberfeldy Jets under 12 basketball team. They've done jobs on
2
stars of the game.
That's unreal.
That's it. So
couple
to you,
presents.
Okay. All right. Now, boys. Now, Janath, we're going to add this to the stream, Nate. Now, we've got some numbers up here. Now, I must admit, I have no idea what these numbers are, what they mean. It looks like you got some triple doubles here, but there are no names. I genuinely don't know what's going on here, mate. So your time to take over for a little bit, mate, and tell us what on earth we're actually looking at here, buddy.
All right. So we got 6 of the best stat lines, in my subjective opinion, here throughout the season. And what we're going to do is we're going to play a little game, all right, boys? So I'm going to go through 1 through 6, one by one. And then what I'll get you to do is you'll each have a buzzer. And you have 1 point for picking the player, and you get another point for picking the game in which that player had this stat line. So there's a little bit of thinking involved.
There's no way I'm going to get any
of
of these.
Supercoach data
I'm worried
involved.
too. I reckon maybe one I'll know, but...
If both of you
I
get
don't
it
know
wrong, I
any.
will reveal the answer. I'll put you out of your misery if both of you get it wrong. So let's start off with that first stat line there. And as a hint, these are in chronological order. So the first stat line was the first stat line to occur out of these 6. So just keep that in mind. All right, the first one.
What's the buzzing word? All
right, Spills, what do you want? What buzzer do you want, mate? Riddler?
Yeah, I'll go Ridley. Yeah.
And DR, what do you want? Bad bloke or something?
I'll go with Big Bird. I got Big Bird here.
Oh my god,
Big Bird.
What is that?
That's crazy as man.
How do you sleep with that in the room?
Is that still
you? I tried to do a little skit for the intro I'm around review. I had him sitting on my back chair trying to do all this stuff. And I tell you what, it was absolute carnage, right? Lisa was in here making me laugh, piss myself. I'm like, nah. I dead set, tried for half an hour to do this little skit with Big Bird. And it just didn't work out. It was the biggest waste of bloody time. But anyway, I'll go Big Bird. There you go.
All right. There we go. All right. The first one. 31 disposals, 10 tackles, 18 contested possessions, 8 clearances, and 2 goals. Who is the man behind this triple-double? And in what game or opponent? Ridley, go on, mate.
Oh, it's just a stab in the dark, but we'll see how we go.
Okay.
Oh, no, I don't know if I want to say it because I reckon I'm going to absolutely butcher it.
That's all right, mate.
I'm getting Jason Horne-Francis round 1 vibes off this. I don't think it is though. I don't think it is, but that's what comes close because I remember he just dominated. I don't think his numbers were that big, but
I'll tell you what. Jason Horne-Francis has never had 30 disposals in his career. So that's wrong.
I didn't think so. I wasn't sure.
That's all good.
I'm looking at the tackles. Okay. So 10 tackles. Got to be some sort of a beast. My mind goes to one of the Bulldogs boys. 18 contested, 8 clearances.
I think I know who this is now, actually.
I'm going to go Tom Liberatore.
2 goals. The 2 goals didn't get you. DR, you were on there. It's the Bont.
Oh, the Bont.
And can you guess which game this was? I'll give you guys a point if you guys can get it.
I got Ridley.
Riddler, go on.
Was it the Sydney game? No,
it wasn't the Sydney game.
That was when Libba dominated. So
Freo.
DR, you got Freo?
Yeah, for
Freo.
Sure. I reckon it is.
Freo at Optus.
Yeah,
I remember watching it. I was in Canberra. That would have been the same round that Brisbane played the Giants, I reckon, because I reckon I watched that in my hotel room in Canberra, and I had the VC on him, and I was absolutely wrapped.
182 Supercoach points. What a monster! So DR, you don't get the name, but you do. I'll give you a point for getting the correct game. So well done to you there, mate.
Good
All
man.
Right. Go to the second one here. 29 disposals, 12 tackles, 21 contested possessions, and 10 clearances. Name and round. Big Bird?
Big Bird. Well, I'm going to go the man I just went before, Tom Liberatore.
Again, it's not Libba, unfortunately.
Okay.
Very similar type of player, though. Spills.
Oh, it's tough as. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but I'm just going to take a stab in the dark and say the desk where he led.
It is the desk.
Very, very nice.
Because he's been the most obvious sort of triple double advocate here, so you can't go wrong. Just a bit lucky there.
I assume you don't remember who he played. This was against Hawthorn in round 6 at UTAS. So,
very nice.
Yeah, I would have guessed against you boys over Gather Round, Janath. I remember
that is
I think he had 37 though. So
yep, that's it.
He played
37.
better. Yeah.
All right, well done. We'll go on to number 3. So it's 1-1 at the moment, boys. Now this is a special, very special stat line for a number of different reasons. The first one is that this is the only quadruple double that has been achieved this season. 33 disposals, 11 marks, 13 tackles, 14 contested possessions. Who do you reckon it is?
Ridley.
Go on.
Is it Jack Steele when he dominated that one time?
Not Jack Steele.
Oh.
Not Jack Steele.
It's not Jack Steele. So, I thought 13 tackles and thought, I reckon that's a Steele performance when he actually scored like 150, but maybe he's one of these other ones.
The 11 marks. 12 marks.
Oh. Who racks up the tackles?
I can't just keep on. All right. Liver.
No, it's not.
There are other players.
I'll give you guys a hint.
Oh,
you two. Hold on, hint. You two are both at this game that this happened.
Ridley.
Yeah.
Is it Dunkley?
It is Dunkley. We were all at the game.
Come on, I knew it.
Was that game? Was it? Yes. Game. I know this, Janath. On big.
It hit me straight away. As soon as you said that, I'm like, yeah. Because that was going to be my second
I'll give you a point because I did give away which game this was, but
yes, you did.
Yeah. So against Carlton, 33 disposals, 11 marks, 13 tackles, 14 contested possessions. Monster. DR. I'm safe to say Libba hasn't had 30 hitouts in a game, so please don't guess him for the next one, mate. All right. Number 4. 27 disposals, 12 marks, 9 tackles, 30 hitouts, 14 contested possessions.
Big bird.
Player and game. Go on, DR.
I'm going to have a stab here. I'm going to say Rowan Marshall against Port Adelaide.
No, it wasn't Rowan Marshall against Port Adelaide.
I was going for a pod there.
So it wasn't Rowan Marshall as well.
No. Oh, was it Max Gawn against Brisbane when we went?
Boys.
Oh, but he kicked a goal. He kicked a goal.
You boys have really let me down here. Who is a ruckman in this game that has 12 marks, 9 tackles, and 27?
I thought it was going to be too obvious. I thought it was going to be too obvious.
So did I.
I'm like, I've got to think outside the box here.
It's clearly English, isn't it?
It is English. I'll give you guys a point if you can guess the game.
Yeah, I agree, DR. I thought that's way too good to be true. So I thought left field.
All right, so one where he's had
27 disposals.
Fuck, he's a stat padder. That's shocking. How does he get away with that? Half of those marks are probably uncontested because they just used him. They actually look for English to distribute. It's criminal.
Oh, Spills, have a think, mate. Come on.
So, wait, we're on the next one, are we?
No, have a think as to what game this was.
Oh, what game was? Okay. Ooh.
I'm not a Team English owner. I'll say West Coast.
No, I don't know.
I don't think they've played West Coast yet, have they? Oh, no. Did they? No, they haven't played West Coast yet.
There you go. That's how well I'm going, Janath.
It was... Oh, Spills, you go.
Was it against Brisbane?
No, it was against Geelong. It was the game where Geelong came over the top of them. So, stiff one there. Come on. Now, this one... If one of you don't get 2 points for this, I will be very disappointed. So, number 5, 21 disposals, 11 marks, 11 contested possessions, 10 goals.
Ridley.
Oh, dead heat. I reckon I'll give it to DR just because he's behind.
We got to go Tex Walker against West Coast.
Bang. There we go. 2 points.
That's what I was going to say.
Bills, is that what you're going to say?
No, it wasn't, because I knew it was too good to be true. Like, he's going to try and suck us into Charlie. but no. It's because we just know, like, Janath, massive Carlton supporter. He's not going to leave Big Chaz out of this one. So yeah, it's a left field.
He didn't have 20 disposals. He didn't get a triple double that game. So I robbed him off a triple double.
Just kick 10 and see you later.
See you later.
Done my bit. no other influence in the game other than 10 goals. Didn't have any.
I mean,
didn't get more than 15, but kick me 10 goals. Yeah. Cheers, boys.
All right. Well, this last one, this is for the win. So DR, you're up by 1 here. So take it easy here. 36 disposals, 10 tackles, 13 contested possessions, 8 clearances, and a goal. Who is this player and in what game?
Ridley.
Go on.
10 tackles.
Was it Tom Green against the Dogs?
That's a very good guess, but he wasn't Tom Green.
He kicked more goals, I reckon.
He kicked 3 goals, I reckon.
Yeah.
That's a really good guess, though.
I've got absolutely no idea.
How hard is it? It's so hard. I'm surprised I got 2 of these. That's just...
I don't think I'm going to take an absolute stab in the dark. Go Reese, and go LDU.
Good guess.
It's not LDU.
Can you give us a hint? Is it...
I will tell you, he's a Brownlow medal fancy that performed this game.
Okay.
As in top 5 in the Brownlow medal odds right now.
Ridley.
Go on.
Zach Butters against Melbourne.
Oh, that is a very good guess,
you're kidding.
Not Zach Butters against Melbourne.
Oh, no.
That's a really good guess.
I remember he carved him up. That's
Butters had 41. 6 marks, 3 tackles.
Sorry, Zachy boy. I've undersold
2 goals.
I've undersold him.
All right. Who is it, Janath? Who is this mystery man?
You want to have one more guess?
Well, if it's recent,
just keep guessing until we get it because it's clearly for the win.
Well, if you got top 5 Brownlow, you got
can't be that hard.
Dacos.
Is that what you're locking in?
Ooh.
I lock in Dacos.
No.
It is a Nick Dacos performance.
Oh, no.
Against who? Now, 13 contested possessions for the day.
I know this. I know this one, maybe.
Jumping Spills.
We'll go double points if you can get the game right. Go on, Ridley.
I cringe for this answer, but was it against the Bombers on Anzac Day?
No, mate. Come on. This is incredible order, mate.
He dominated.
He's not listening. I said these games are in order of when they happen.
Oh, okay.
That's all right. It was against Gold Coast, on the Gold Coast.
Yeah, he killed it. He's played that many good games.
Dominated that game.
That is
it is challenging.
Very, very hard. Very hard. You
boys have done quite well.
People watching with their phones open, going, "The answer's so obvious." Like, wait until you're in the limelight on a live podcast. Yeah, see how you go. It's bloody tough.
I butchered it.
It's tough.
You could have helped me out and made one of them Libba Janath's.
Did Libba have 30 hitouts?
Did he score 10 goals? Surely. No, I don't think Libba scored 2 goals in a game this year. I was very taken aback by your best guess.
I didn't think it'd be as obvious. I thought, surely not the bot in the first one. I've got to go Libba. Silly.
He kicked 2 goals in one game.
I knew the game as well. I should have known that.
Right. It was 2-2, was it?
Very good, my man.
DR got 4 points. You got 2 points, Spills. But I really respected the fact that you buzzed in first most of the time, and that you didn't pick Tom Liberatore.
Shows confidence, and rightly so. Put back in my place.
That's
good.
All right, boys.
Isn't this some Supercoach controversy?
Very quickly. We just want to discuss this. Now, my man Tim Mitchell, love Tim Mitchell. How are you, buddy? Hope that you're well, mate. And look forward to catching up with Tim on Friday night, actually. But he's got a bit of an idea. Now, there's been a few people talking about different ways to improve Supercoach. And, over the last few years, we've seen lots of changes. We've seen boosts, extra trades. Some people have loved the changes, other people not. Depends maybe if you're a bit old school, if you're a real serious player, if you're the casual player. But Tim's got a bit of an idea here. So very, very basically, in 4 simple steps here, you get a player on loan for 2 weeks once a season. That player does not impact your team value. That player replaces an injured or suspended player in your 30, and the injured/suspended player returns to your team when the loan expires. Now, I have had confirmation as well that the player that you loan has to be of equal or lower value. So it's not like I can have a Jack Steele and go and loan an absolute uber, Clayton Oliver, for example. But there's been some people for, some people against. Just want to get your blokes' thoughts on this idea of Tim's. And hey, look, you can agree or disagree. Just great that people are actually talking about how we can improve the game. So, Spills, we'll head down to the bottom, mate, with you. What do you think about this idea about a player loan system, my friend?
I love the idea of it. Like Timmy Mitchell, just full of great ideas. Clear Supercoach guru. It's a lot to take in. It's one of those questions where I don't think I can answer it because I haven't really had the time to think about it and like give an answer that where I can elaborate on it a little bit more. So it's a tough one, but I'm more on the pig mentality side of things where I just like how it is at the moment. I wouldn't want to make too many changes. I probably disagree with the Friday night lockout, but the 20 to 25 trades, it does separate the men from the boys in Supercoach, makes it where you have to put in the work to have a good season where we're getting 36 trades. I mean, you could have your first ever season of Supercoach and make the top 10K. You got that many chances. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm with Shorty. I'm just a bit of an old school traditional Supercoach. So I wouldn't want to make too many changes for it. I think players would get confused in the Supercoach team. It would affect preparation. I'm not quite sure. It's a tough question, and I'm not really I can't give too much more of an answer than that because I haven't really thought too much about it. But definitely food for thought. What about yourself, boys? What do we reckon of this? Because obviously you guys had a bit more time to think about than I have. But I'm not a massive fan of it at first glance. But maybe if I take a few weeks to dissect that in my head, and maybe I might come around to it. But yeah, I like the game how it is. I don't think we need to really change it too much.
Agreed. It's sort of, it really is appealing to the casual fan, and we've seen with the boosts, right? The boosts, they came in during COVID so that if a player got COVID, you can trade them out without impacting your trade cadence. Now it's part of strategy, and people are burning through these boosts. And if they were used more properly, like teams are like using boosts to trade out underperforming primos. Like that's not why the boosts are there. So, I mean, I would, whilst I see the logic in it, I can see it. I think that like DR and I, we're grateful we had 36 trades this year because coming back from 90K in round 1 to
absolutely
top 1K to 2K, not possible with 20 trades, just because there's so much less possibility to make variance trades. And again, it comes back to the fact that if we didn't have 35 trades, we wouldn't have had players.
You wouldn't have started those.
Starting team for sure.
DR for you, Nat Fife. Like, we're not starting these guys because these are unproven goods and you don't have trades to mess around with your team. So I think, Tim, I'm going to give a thumbs down for this idea, but I love the spirit. Love always just hearing ideas thrown around like that. What about yourself, DR? What do you reckon? Are we consensus?
Yeah, look, I'm probably with you folks as well. Like the thought of it, but I actually have to agree with what Spill said before as well. I like the 20 to 25 trades. I wouldn't go 20, I'd go 25. So I like 25 trades, I think. But I'm completely against the fixed Friday night lockout. Like, surely
I hate that.
I don't think that actually helps because he says here it's going too far towards the casuals. I think that helps the casuals because you don't have to think about your team. It's like, I'll just lock in the Friday night. Don't have to think about it. But us blokes are really
Does
invested
that
in it.
affect the loophole
We
as
look for late
well?
changes. We want to be able to use strategy, like with the loopholes, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be able to use some strategy there. So yeah, don't agree with the Friday night lockout. I would hate that. I would absolutely hate that.
Yeah. Nothing
But
works.
I don't think
like-
we need to be adding any more trades. There's AFL fantasy, so if you really want to just trade each week, there's a different format to be able to do that. I think so. I think that the more trades that we give in Supercoach, the less the originality we have. I suppose that's the best way that I can explain it.
And it's really good being able to sort of have a look at scenarios around. Okay, I don't need to trade this guy in on a Friday. I can wait till a Saturday 4:30 game to trade him in and
mate.
really get as much time to dissect him. Because like with working weeks and stuff, you barely have enough time Monday to Friday to have a look at your Supercoach, let alone make a rational decision as to, okay, I want to bring in this guy, crunch the numbers.
Yeah.
By Friday, you're thinking about bringing someone in, but by Saturday afternoon, you're thinking, okay, this is the more logical way to go. So yeah, totally agree that we should decrease or at least stay at trades. There's no need for more trades to be added in.
Imagine if there's more than 36.
Yeah, jeez.
It'd just be insane.
No,
be like BBL.
Like, oh, but nah.
All right. Boys, very quickly now, we do not have many questions this week. I think there are 3 comments here. So very, very quickly, I'll get my Twitter screen up. And at this time of year, we really don't expect too many questions in the mailbag. But thank you to anyone that did these 3 legends here. First one is from Benny. G'day, Ben. Will you be starting George Hewitt next year at 440k-ish? Janath, I'm going to send this one straight to you, being the Carlton man. He's someone that I haven't even considered starting next year myself. Not to say that I think he's a bad pick, whatever. I literally haven't thought about the man. Does he tempt you in any way, shape, or form, given the fact that on the weekend we saw one of his best scores of his career, and last year we saw him go from mediocre type scorer to one of the Ubers down back? So what are your thoughts for Benny on starting Georgie Boy next year?
Not as a mid. He's not played anywhere near enough defensive minutes to warrant DPP. And we just saw even this year, the fact is we're missing Kennedy, we're missing Walsh, we're missing Chera. Hewitt was so good on Saturday night, but the ceiling's just not going to be there for him with those 5 mids. And then the late resurgence of Paddy Dow, who you never know might stick around at the club. We might find a role for him. But yeah, I just don't see 440k is not cheap. Like that's keep territory, because if he makes 150k, is 590k, at that point you're holding him, right? So it's not going to be as much value in midfield as he was as a defender last year. It probably was a 400k, I think, when he started last year.
I reckon just under maybe
399 or something
close.
Like that. Yeah,
very, very. Yeah, he was like very, very high 300s. Might be 398, 399 from memory, mate. I reckon you're right. So, but basically 400. Yep.
400 defender versus 440 mid is 2 different propositions. Completely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Spills, I'm guessing you're the same, because that was part of your lessons learned, wasn't it, mate? You're not going to stuff around with these type of price midfielders next year.
And why would you? You pay $150,000 for a Brayshaw type instead. I mean, I wouldn't muck around. It's an awkward price. That's keeper material price, as you said, Janath. I was going to say that, and it's just right on the money. I don't think, and the DPP is going to no DPP, just a mid only. Doesn't help our case much. I don't think there's much in it. Haven't even considered him, and I don't think I will unless he dominates. But I'm pretty happy to let that ship sail, mate.
Cool. Look, a lot of water going under the bridge, mate, between now and next season, obviously, but probably at this stage, mate, not really on our radar. But thanks very much, Benny. Appreciate it, mate. Next one, Phil, with no trades left, no immediate advice required, but good luck to all in the semis.
Thank you,
Thank you
Phil.
very much,
Thank
legend.
you, mate.
Kudos
Good on you,
to
Phil.
you and the
Much
team.
appreciated, mate, and good luck to yourself as well, champion. Thanks, mate. And I'll tell you what, this is the quickest mailbag on record, boys, by a long way. We've got Petey back again. So Petey's a real regular, always sends something through each week. So thanks again, mate. Hope that you're well, buddy. Hey, legends, didn't clarify last time, but most all my questions are for a friend's draft league and have Tex, Flanders, Cogs, McRae all on board plus Butters. All right, very nice, mate, the old draft league. Anywho, thoughts on who gets the Finn treatment?
This is huge.
Sarong or Andy B? Always love the work. Great question, mate. Really good question. There are a lot of teams that actually are running with both of these blokes. So, Spills, I sent the last one to Janath first, mate. We'll go to you. Who do you reckon Mr. McGuinness goes to? Is it going to be Andy B, more of that outside running type player? Or is it going to be in the little nugget, Caleb Schlong? What do you reckon, mate?
Well, for my own sake, I really hope that it is directed at Brayshaw, and I think it should be.
Yeah, I'm with you.
His two-way running is just he's unstoppable when he doesn't get attention. He's really when they attack, when they defend, he's always there. He's always in the chain, super damaging. Where I think Sarong, he's just your in and under. He's your liver of the Freo. Like he just wins the hard ball. I don't think he's going to have as much impact. So, and yeah, I've got, I think, 2 out of the 4 in my Cashy. I'll bring it up again, but in the Cashy final, have Brayshaw. So for my own hope that they tag Brayshaw this week, that sort of helps me a little bit. I think my opponent this week has Brayshaw, so that would be a really nice advantage for me. But my gut feel says he goes to Brayshaw. A lot more damaging, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I really do think Sarong's more of your bull, and Brayshaw's more of your bit more damaging, accumulates and does all the other fancy stuff that you gets recognised for. So, what do you boys reckon?
Janath, do you reckon Spills is just living on some hope here, or do you think it's realistic that Finn could go to Andy B?
Well, I reckon you can wait a week because this is when I say wait a week, because this is round 24. This is the final round of the season. This is next week. Yeah,
the big dance. This is the grand final. If you make it through the granny, this is a relevant one. Yeah. Really relevant.
Finn will go wrong if the way that he went to Lib is anything to go by. So the fact is, they went to the extractor, not the outside runner.
Do you reckon that's Bond's body size though, or do you reckon?
Well, Finn can't go with
Nash.
Bond. I don't
Connor
think
Nash
so.
is Connor Nash is the perfect matchup for Bond.
Bigger, stronger.
And the thing is, I heard something at halftime. Bont was like, if Lib is a huge loss, we'll need 4 or 5 guys to pick up his slack. So the weight for Libba in that team is 4 to 5 guys. If you take Sarong away from Freo, I think it impacts them more than taking Andy B away from Freo. So given that, I know that it's not what is want to be heard. He could at the same time go to a Jordan Clark, which is what happened when Libba went down. He went to the attacking halfback, Bailey Dale. He got switched forward. He then went to what's his name, Ed Richards. Then Richards had to move up the ground a bit. Went to Latham Vandermeer. He was just cycling through all the attacking halfbacks after that. So it could be a Sarong into a Jordan Clark, back into a Sarong, depending on who gets off the chain.
Even Hayden Young, he's another
Hayden
one.
Young.
That'd be a great matchup, Youngie and McGuinness, like two really strong. That'd be a good one-on-one that, because Youngie's really strong and really like damaging by foot. So that could be that's a very highly anticipated game, Janath, for me anyway.
Just quickly on the first half of that question, do we agree? Like, it makes a lot more sense in draft that you have all of those players, like the Butters, Tex, Flanders, Cogs, McRae. Do we agree that we rank, obviously, Butters, but Tex against West Coast, Flanders against North, Cogs against Carlton, and McRae against Geelong? Like, in that order? Or maybe Cogs ahead of Flanders now? I think that's the only one I'd sort of switch around. McRae at 4, he's got no role. Even in the role, he's not performing well. He's just cooked.
Yeah.
Remember when we rambled on about how much of a lock he's going to be next year?
Yeah.
Forward one? I'm not so sure now.
I don't think so, mate. Unless
I'd go that order. I reckon I'd go that order.
I'd go Cogs over Flanders, but yeah.
Yeah.
Would you?
It depends on matchup.
Yeah. Well, it's North. So it's like if he...
Yeah.
Do you mean matchup as in his draft matchup or like who they're versing?
I don't know.
Tough one, not sure.
Tough one.
All right. Well, boys, that was a very, very quick mailbag. Thank you very much for all the questions, legends. Much appreciated. Now, probably time to finish off with the VCs. Is there anything else you want to chat about before we finish up with the VCs, blokes? Or
I might just give some very quick injury updates that are relevant. So,
yes, excellent.
Just very, very quickly. Nothing really for Adelaide. I know Mitch Hinge is a draft option. I've got him in draft, so he's there. He's a test. Brisbane, Gunston out for home and away. At Carlton, Cher and Walsh are both a week away, so they'll be back for round 24. Sam Doherty is a test. Brad Lloyd, our GM, our footy ops boss, was on SEN yesterday saying that Doherty got a kick to his calf, and he's going to be a test to play this week. So hopefully he gets up. At Collingwood, Dacos, probably a semi-final prelim. Darcy Moore's going to be round 1. Essendon, nothing really super coach relevant. Maybe Jai Caldwell is a test to play. At Freo, apart from Sean Darcy, Fife is out for the season. Nothing there. Geelong, this is big because this leads into my VC. Reece Stanley is a test to play. John Segler's a test to play. And Mark Blitzarbs is injured. Rowan Marshall against Geelong at Marvel.
Oh, damn
is a very, very good VC option.
DR doesn't own him. You don't own him, do you?
Spills, is this what you're saying? It's dangerous to antipod Marshall in a game like this?
Oh,
yeah, I think
this is going to hurt.
This would be the one that I'd. He's my VC, Janath. I won't go into it, but agree with everything you're saying. I'm going to go on a limb though. Yeah.
Do you want me to continue? I'll finish off the injury list and then we'll finalize our captains. But I think we're both on VC Marshall at the moment, based on that. Yeah. Gold Coast, it's okay. There's plenty of other options, mate.
there's plenty of picks in the sea.
There's nothing at Gold Coast that's really relevant. GWS, unless you own Finn Callahan at this point in the season, nothing there. Hawthorn
teams.
Hawthorn, poor Chad Wingard.
Ghost teams.
Contract year.
Yeah, it's very sad.
That's unlucky,
man.
That's
a sad story. That's just why it's an awful injury. For AFL relevance, though, Mitch Lewis is a test to play, which is relevant for Melbourne's chances of winning, which is relevant for both Carlton and Brisbane. So we'll just keep that in mind. Yes. Melbourne, Ben Brown is a test to play, which may be quite handy for your boy, Max Gawn there, mate.
I hope so. Come on, Benny. Get up,
At
son.
North Melbourne, Liam Shields is a week away. Jaden Stevenson is out for the season, which is probably, at the way he's playing, is probably a benefit for North Melbourne.
No loss.
But looks like Shields and Curtis Taylor may be in the team to tag some Gold Coast boys in the final round. That's the way to see.
Maybe Noah.
Yeah.
Maybe Noah. At Adelaide, Scott Lysette is not playing the home and away. Dante Vicentini is TBC to be called with a quad injury. So it is a quad DR that is injured with.
Okay.
At Richmond, Daniel Rioli is a test with an ankle injury. Not much more relevant there. St Kilda, nothing really relevant here.
You're playing for Sydney,
draft. Go. Anyone?
So is it Jack Riolt's last game this week? Is he finishing up this week?
It is Jack Riolt's and Jack
Jump
Siebels.
on. jump
Jack
on.
Siebel, he's going to get plenty of ball.
No, Siebel won't be a free agent, but I think Jack Rewalt will in most draft leagues.
Right. You mean as a got it.
Yeah, just because obviously who's no one's got
they're going to feed him.
So
they're going to feed him.
Yeah, they will absolutely.
At Sydney, Joel Amati is a test, which may just mean that Hayden McLean plays more as a forward, but Tom Hick is in the team, so I wouldn't really be targeting that ruck match up there. At West Coast, those with Oscar Allen, TBC with a shoulder injury, I don't think they'll put him on ice. He's too important for them. Ryan Marrick as cover is a test from his calf injury.
Some desperate teams might need his cover.
Yeah, I want him out. It's a loophole.
Anyone want a bit of Alex Witherden? Can get him.
Maybe
Shanahan's 1 week away. Maybe next year.
Next year, yeah. I'm thinking about him next year actually. Without Shay, that could be serious. That could be good.
And at the Dogs, Jason Johannesson's a test, and the big one there, Tom Liberatore, concussion.
Holy shit! I've got yours there on a list. I don't think JJ still played anymore. There you go.
And you would hope that he is back in the following week. So with that in mind, boys, I'll go first and just say my VC is on Rowan Marshall at the moment, and my captain may come down to a coin cost between Tim English and Bontempelli.
Two rucks that I don't have are in your combos, Janet. Damn, that hurts, mate. That hurts. Oh, I'm really jealous that I don't own either of those fellas, mate, because I'll speak to Janath off air. And look, I do not recommend anyone else to go with me on this. Stay away. I don't think it's a good idea. One of the lessons I've learned this year is you got to go with your gut. Now, the history is telling me not to do it. Recent form is telling me not to do it. So all the signs are saying, no, dear.
What are you doing?
But I've got a feeling that my man Lockie Neal is going to come out this week.
Yes, I love it.
On Friday night. I'm going to be there at the game. I'll be there at the game. And I want to cheer on this man like I've never cheered him on before.
Give us some milk with that Chucky Wheel, boys.
Step up, Chucky Wheel, and send me into my Cash League Grand Final. So Chucky Neal is going to be my VC for the week. Now, captain, I'm finding it pretty difficult, to be quite honest. I've just got cold feet. You know, I've just been, apart from a couple of Zeret scores, it just has not been going well for me. So if Grundy doesn't play, I might go with Max Gawn. I know that Hawthorn are a bit restrictive on ruck, or else I may just go all out, boys, with my recruit from last week.
Oh my God!
And go a pod in Dogger against Port Adelaide.
DR, you're not a fan of Bont this week against West Coast, like at Marvel? All the cards are there, aren't they?
I've got him written down here with big words, safe. So if I really want to go safe, I think that I'll just lock in the Bont. I think he's like the easiest captain you can probably go. But if I want to just go a little bit different, this is based off, and I should be saying this is based off who my Cash League opponent's going for as well. Yeah. So that's why I'm looking at someone a little bit outside the box as well. I should have just mentioned Bont is a very safe lock for me, but if I need to make up some points somewhere, he's going Bont, then I'm going Jackson, I think. So Chocky into either Bont or Jackson, I think, for me.
Nice. I love that.
Max Dawn possibility. But hey, Spills, I'm not going to need my captain. Just mark my words, fellas. Mark my words.
Okay.
Brownlow Night, round 23. Chocky Neal, 3 votes. Lock it in the book now.
Yeah, all right. Takes to the bank, mate. I'll be there with you on Friday, cheering him on for you. I'm not going to VC him myself, but I really do hope that he just goes off his head, because I am an owner. There's a lot of people.
We need him.
And he's so due. So due. So I hope
that's another thing. He's due.
Yeah.
He's due. You just watch him, mate. You just watch him. Are we all done?
Yeah. Your captain, mate?
Yeah, Rowan. Yeah, I think super obvious, especially if Geelong don't get a ruck. Gonna go a bit left field with my captain and not actually reveal it. I'm gonna keep your cards to your chest, boys.
Look at him.
I'm in a cash league, as you know, DR, and I wouldn't be surprised if everyone in that cash league viewed the potty. And I don't want to sort of reveal it. I think.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got a couple of ideas. Couple of nice players in my.
You can run it past us in the group chat, mate. No worries.
Yeah, I will. But for now, I've just got the C on what's his name, the Freo bloke. I don't think our Stanley. Nah, yeah. Come on, Constable Charlie. Step up for me, mate. You can be my captain. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, my captain is just a loophole at the moment. I haven't really sorted it out, so
Madden.
Gonna keep that on the down low. Yeah,
got the C on Madden.
Days on.
Just before we finish, just very, very quickly, I just want to go through the teams and just put an outline on who's tagged and who's not. So Collingwood don't tag, Brisbane don't tag, Richmond have tried to but unsuccessfully tag. North have now Curtis Taylor as an inside mid tagger, and then Shields and Bailey Scott as wing or inside mid taggers when appropriate. Gold Coast, Tuke Miller did a job on Errol and he did a job on Lockie. So you're looking for any mids that play against Gold Coast as an avoid. Carlton, Hewitt is a very soft tagger. He doesn't really run with, but I know that Paddy Cripps also went head-to-head with Clayton Oliver, so that's how we normally play. Giants don't really tag. Bombers have tried to put Perkins on a big-bodied mid at times. Saints don't tag. Sorry, they do tag. They tag intercepting defenders, so I would be avoiding Tom Stewart this week with the Cooper Sharman matchup coming.
Yeah.
And Geelong don't tag.
That game hurt me so much. Broke my heart. Sharman.
Yeah.
Grow up. I can't wait to get stuck in the camera.
Sharman. Seriously.
When we get camera on the channel next year, hopefully, I'll be having a really wise word.
Get him on.
Come on, camera.
Adelaide don't tag unless Ben Keys does a forward role. Sydney, unless Ryan Clark does a forward role, don't tag.
Yep.
Dogs don't tag. Xavier O'Neill went to Sarong this week, and Brayshaw. I think it was a bit of a mix there. So that's something to monitor. Melbourne don't tag. Hawthorn. They do tag. They got
Hawthorn tag.
Do they ever?
Finn McGuinness tags. He's called the human ice block now.
Yeah,
he just clamps down anyone. And Connor Nash is a big-bodied mid. Freo have Hayden Young as a tagger, but just watch out to see if Ethan Hughes comes back, because with Hughes out, Young went back into defence. But if Hughes is in, he's got a bit more of a license to head into that midfield and take care of someone. And Port Adelaide don't really tag unless Willem Drew gets a responsibility like he did for Josh Kelly on the weekend.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Excellent, mate. Look, and they're important numbers. With a couple of weeks to go, these are things that you really need to be looking at. But, boys, oh, shit. We said Raymond for about 40 minutes. I knew this would happen. See, this is what happens when I'm in the chair, Janath. This is what happens when I'm in the chair. So, apologies. We've gone about...
We've got nowhere to be, JR. It's all good.
It is what it is. But, look, boys, thank you very much again for joining me, legends. Look, we're all on some really important prelims this week. We're all looking forward to catching up on the Friday night at Crown. So, again, that's at 6 o'clock. I believe it's at the pub in Crown. So, head to Facebook for, I think, details on that. I did get sent a link, but I'm not really a Facebooker. If not, hit us up on Twitter and we'll give you all the details that you need. But, boys, good luck to your two sides this week, Supercoach-wise and AFL-wise. Spills, anything exciting going on for the weekend apart from the big Friday night, mate?
Nah, not a great deal, mate. I think, should be, really looking forward to that. I reckon I'll be able to finish work a bit earlier on the Friday and sneak over to Melbourne. Hopefully the V-line is kind and gets me there and back on time. That would be good. But, I can't wait for that, mate. Keen as to meet, like, Timmy Mitchell and Shorey as well. That'll be unreal. I'm keen to have a chat to him. And I'm keen to have a chat to Shorey about the footy shorts and the press conference. He's just one of the funniest footy players I've seen. So I can't wait for the night. It's gonna be really good. And just quickly, boys, is this I don't know what we're gonna be doing next week, but is this our last potty, or are we gonna keep going with it, or is this
one more?
Is there much
one more?
really...
Look, I'm up for another crack, mate. We got to end it, mate. We got to end it.
Go all the way. Go. Yeah, I think that's only appropriate. Maybe we do a bit of a 2023 season review as a team, and that'll be really interesting. I think only the real OG subscribers will watch that. So kudos to all them legends. But good pod, boys, and can't wait for the weekend to catch up with you boys yet again. I've only met you once before, Janath, so it'd be good to meet you again and dabble in a couple of frothies, legend. Should be good.
That's it, man. Well, I'm looking forward to meeting Heatshaw and talking about his 36 kick game in 2016. He scored 200 points, and I remember that very vividly. 36 kicks, 2 handballs. What a
against the Bombers? Was it against my boys?
It was against the Bulldogs. But it was a monster game.
Wow.
He was a monster. Yeah, he was fantastic.
Premiers. That's bragging rights, that, because it's a premiership team. Ultimate bragging rights from Heater.
That's right. Geez, I'll tell you what, and anyone, just very quickly, I think our man Cause is going. So if you're looking for the ladies,
lock up your wives. Lock up your wives.
Oh, lock them up, Spills. I tell you what, mate.
I don't have a missus, but if I did, she'd be staying home. I'm not letting her anywhere near Cause. I'll tell you what, he's slippery. You'd me. Can't be
very high standards. Has Cause.
We're dogging Cause here. He's a legend.
Oh,
yeah, great bloke.
Absolutely love the man. Absolutely love the man. So, look, blokes, great to chat with you again. I'm going to jump on a members chat during this week. So, for all the members of the channel, hope to see you soon. H, I know you've sent me a DM, mate, just before. We need to have a chat about what you're going to do this week in your cashy. And for anyone else, as we mentioned before, good luck for your league finals, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys. Bye.
See you, boys.